The next transition I want to share with you is the no transition transition. And this is essentially where you just don't simply add a transition and just let it go. Since I'm showing you all of these different transitions that you can make use of, it might be tempting to go ahead and use all of these in a track. However, I thought it might be important to mention that sometimes you can go with the less is more approach. And so you can do that by simply not having a transition. So I don't think I need to go into a whole lot of detail with that one. So I'll just move on to the next transition, and that would be the impact transition. Now, this transition is another great way of kind of waking up that listener and making sure that they're paying attention. It's also a really great way to either add like an exclamation point to the very end of something or at the very beginning of something new. So with those drum fill transitions, I mentioned that I didn't actually put a cymbal crash at the end of the one drum fill, where some drummers will kind of finish out their drum fill and add a big cymbal crash. That would be similar to an impact transition. And I'll show you an example of that now. So for this particular track, I have this impact that I found in my sample library, and it sounds like this. And I actually added that at the very beginning of the track to give it a real impact and kind of really rope the listener in. And it sounds like this. And so I use that one other time whenever I'm coming out of this kind of breakdown section here, and I want to kind of spice things up again and kind of liven it up again with another impact. So you can use impacts as a way to kind of transition into and out of different sections, and also at the beginning of something new. And impacts don't have to be these huge, monstrous explosions. They can be something as simple as a crash sound. So here I have a bunch of crash sounds. Another thing that I really like to use for impacts is actually this contact player. So there's a sound library called Damage, and there's actually a lot of really cool impact hit sounds inside of this that I love to use as well. So that's just a taste of some of the sounds inside of this Damage kit, but this is really great when you want to add those kind of cinematic sounding impacts into your song. But again, you can use something like a simple cymbal crash too. One last thing I'll show you is if you have your own kind of handheld recorder, maybe you can even use your cell phone, you can actually record sounds and turn those into impact sounds. And right here where I have this one that says explosion, we actually found a wooden pallet and an empty dumpster. And so I tossed the wooden pallet into the dumpster and we got this sound here. So that's really dramatic for an impact sound. But again, if you have a recorder of your own, you can just go out and maybe find some stuff to kind of toss around and create some impact sounds of your own.